You ever noticed how your chronic symptoms go away actually when you're focusing on something you love and enjoy? When you are really engaged in something that's interesting to you, you realize your pain isn't there, or the thoughts, the feelings, the muscle pains, the stomach cramping, all the things that were problematic, they weren't there when you were focused on something else entirely. What does that tell you? What does that tell you? It means that by paying attention to pain itself, you give it more power. And when you give it more power, more attention, it grows, okay? So ideally, when you have a chronic illness, you have chronic symptoms, your goal is to be able to focus on things that you enjoy, that you love, and that actually pique your interest, that draw you in. When you are at that moment, you're not going to be experiencing symptoms for the most part. What happens with people is they get these symptoms, they chronically have these symptoms, and then they start with this fear in these thinking far ahead about these things that could go wrong, and they start basically kind of getting trapped in their own thought loops, right? This is what I did for years and years and years and years, where I was trying to escape this illness, and I was fighting this infection and all these things that were just so overwhelming in my brain that I couldn't really even be present for anything else, right? But the reality was, once I started to choose to live my life again in the middle of the illness, just said, you know what, forget it, man. I'm going ahead and I'm just doing some things I used to like to do, and I'm just going to do them. And if I do too much of them, then I'll cut back, but I'll go ahead and I can't live my life like this in a house, not doing anything anymore. I have to do things. So once I got to a point where I was like generally healthy enough to do that, then I went ahead and started living my life, even if it felt like it was really more than I could handle. I just lived my life without the fear and started to actually enjoy the things I was doing. And what I realized is that, like I said at the beginning of the video, when I was living my life and not thinking about being sick, then guess what? I didn't feel sick in that moment. I didn't feel the illness. I didn't feel the fibromyalgia pains. I didn't feel the other things that were problems, right? And in that moment, I realized, hey, as long as I could keep myself focused on something I love and have attention for and care about, then I can be escaping my symptoms, right? But when I get caught on focusing on what is right now, my symptoms, and how is this never going to go away, and I don't know what to do, and I need to Google more and all that, then it makes everything much worse, quite frankly, So if you're in a constant state where you're observing your symptoms, you have to be able to find more joy in your life, and you got to include more activities that, even if you start, hey, I can't go on a walk, man, I'm so sick, I'm in my bed, I can't go in. Well, just start for a walk for 1 minute. And the next day, do 1.5 minutes. And 10 days later, you'd be doing 10 minutes. Gradually work your way up to a place where you feel safe with this activity through gradient exposure. Allow yourself to start to get back into these things that you enjoyed in your life before. Don't let your illness stop everything in your life and dead in its tracks and put you in a place where you can't even live anymore. Of course, you're not going to feel well. You're just going to be observing yourself limited in this situation, fantasizing about wanting to be in that place again where you can do everything, and how you're not there yet, and everything you're going to see is a reflection of you not being there yet. Over and over again. I've been there, man. I did it for a decade. I'm telling you, I understand, right? So to escape that, you got to start putting things in your life that you enjoy, that you look forward to, that you engage in, that make life living again worth it all, And at the end of the day, you have to be able to find a reason to keep pushing through this illness, If there's nothing on the other side of it where you're not excited about something, then guess what's going to happen? You're not really going to care in those moments of weakness, and you're going to eat the wrong food, you're going to make the wrong decisions, because it's not something at the end of it's not a light at the end of the tunnel, you know what I'm saying? So, at the end of the day, you have to be able to think this way if you're trying to overcome this illness. So thanks for watching, everybody. If you have any questions, reach out to me. My website, endsickness.org, has hundreds of articles, hundreds of videos, and thanks for watching. Hope to see you again at another video.